much for staying tuned. This is the Power Talk Show, and I am your host, Cheryl Blessing. We are confronting rape culture, and I'm joined in studio by two amazing ladies. And we're just having conversations about, we've established what rape culture is, and we've realized that it's the perpetration of every single sex assault. It doesn't have to be the physical act of rape. It starts from the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, and then it leads up to the extreme cases. And we are trying to figure out why it's so prevalent in society. We are living in a patriarchal society. Kenya is a patriarchal nation. So how can we make this patriarchal nation more kinder, more delicate with the baby girls? Because tunasemanga sini ma baby girl.
Honestly, we are like the girls that we are.
Not to be third. Do you know the other day I was in a matatu going back home after the show, actually last week. So this was around 10 p.m. And there's a guy who sat next to me, and he asked me, "Are you not afraid of going home this late?"
Yeah.
So I asked him, "What should I? Why? Why?" Because there are goons out here. And I was like, "I'm sorry to say, this was a very honest answer." I told him women have been taught to be afraid of men from a very early age. We were told, watch out, anko anaweza kurape. Usiongeleshe a stranger. You never know. And because of the cases that we've been witnessing, we've seen fathers defiling their children. You see, we've seen husbands defiling their wives. And all these forms of abuse, teachers, pastors even. There was a case of a clergyman who was arrested for assault. And unfortunately, it's not even just the women who experience assault, even the men experience sexual assault. That's a conversation we're going to have another day. But this evening, we want to figure out, why is rape culture encouraged in Kenya, and how can we do away with it? So we've tried to understand that sometimes we perpetrate it, sometimes our comments, and the men, the jokes, the things that have been normalized in society. Women have been objectified very heavily. The media doesn't help. The music we listen to, the movies we watch, it's just women in bikinis, practically, and we get some, let me just say it as it is, some toxic male figureheads who will come up and speak and say, mwanamke ni mtu unaweza nunua,
Yeah, we've had that.
Exactly.
There's a lot of that, actually.
Exactly. There is a lot of that conversation of you can buy a woman. And especially when it comes to dating, men feel like if I have money, I can do anything.
Anything that I want.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anything. Dr. Kizi, tell us about that, because we've had cases of people being assaulted because the man has the economic upper hand, and the women sometimes are denied access to ways of making money. So how does that play a role in the relationship, and how can a woman empower herself such that when they get into a relationship, the man does not exploit the upper hand that they have?
Yeah, well, that's financial abuse, which is very common in homes where there's domestic violence or intimate partner violence. It's all about a power imbalance, and the person with the power oppresses the person without the power. And finances create an imbalance if there's already an issue between the two of them, So where one feels that they have more power because they have more money, and they enjoy oppressing the partner, which is usually the woman. Many women stay in these relationships because they don't have the funds to get out. They don't have the skills to get out, or that's what they think. They think about their children. How am I going to take care of these children? Where will we live? How will I pay fees? And you have all these thoughts in your mind about how will we survive without his money. And then the oppression just keeps getting more and more and more. Many times they're not given the funds anyway. They have to figure out where to get it from. And so on. This just continues into a vicious cycle. What I recommend for such people, when you're in an abusive relationship, it kind of clouds your ability to think clearly, to see clearly, and to see exit strategies. You can't. You're just thinking, I'm doomed. This is it. That's when you'll find many women might even, not many, but you'll hear stories of suicide, killing the children and herself. It's such environments create this. But what is recommended is that they get to see a psychotherapist, because once you unpack, when you talk about a problem, solutions come up. So once they are unpacked with by a professional, they are able to divide this problem into small pieces and figure out, okay, which one do I need to deal with now, which one can we deal with next, and how do I exit and be able to take care of myself and all that. So women need to, first of all, choose your partner wisely. Please, this whole love, romance, I don't understand why people marry or have children because, oh, I'm in love. Like, that's not enough. You need to look deeper than that. What kind of character does this man display? Or this woman, what kind of character does she display? You have to think about it the way you would if you're getting into a business venture with someone. You won't say, oh, you're so handsome, you're so beautiful, let's do this together. You want to do a background check. Yeah, and then that's one, pick the right partner. Ensure you love yourself. Ensure you are self-aware. Who are you? What do I like? What do I not like? Which kind of people do I want to spend time with? What is my purpose? What's my vision for my life? Then you'll pick someone who aligns with that. Then you'll have less issues that way. And 3, ensure that, please, education is so important. You need an education and you need skills to be able to take care of yourself. Yeah, so that's what I would recommend.
I love that, because sometimes we may not like to hear this, but we need to take charge ourselves.
Yeah, of yourself before you
we try, and because sometimes, you know, when people are in such situations, they expect some external intervention to come through, some sort of help.
It's not coming, maybe.
It's not going to come up until you decide it has to start from me. I'm going to get up and do something about it. Because otherwise, men know what they're doing. When a man is in a situation where he's financially abusing you, he knows he has the upper hand. So the minute you take away that power from him, then
he has lost control.
Exactly.
No more controlling you.
I love that.
Yeah.
And we still have some healthy masculine men in society.
Yes, we do.
And I'm so grateful for that, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for that.
We do.
And these men, should we tell them to champion? Or, because there's some who will stand up for what is true and what is right. But as we've said, men are more responsive to fellow men.
Yes.
So how can we get these healthy guys to spread the message? Like, is it, I'm thinking about, you remember in the past, when you with your man, you talk to your man and then you influence your man and then the neighbor influences her man.
Yes.
You know, should we sit in our relationships and talk to and be like, babe, imagine you squam talks. You come here, my boys wako. What do we need to do, Marion?
I feel like we should do that. What am I going to say?
We should have a strategy.
Honestly, have that group talk that your man and me and another couple, you know, a partner, maybe 2 partners together, and then they talk, they have that talk. Because, like you say, they listen to each other, so maybe coming from another man's perspective will be louder than coming from us. Like you said, we live in a patriarchal society that everything you say, as long as you're a woman, sometimes in another environment, as long as you're a woman, it's not making sense. So that, as you're saying, we need to sit down them and talk
to figure out something. Like women, we should have a meeting behind the tent after and figure out how we're doing this.
Honestly.
Yeah, or let the men figure it out.
That's true.
They can also do that. But I notice, like, the male counterparts are not really interested in doing, you know, the whole advocacy and awareness creation. They are not really that interested. Some are, but a drop in the ocean.
And unfortunately, unless it impacts them directly, it's not going to hit anywhere close to home. They'll just talk about it, but it's not going to be something personal.
Or they'll even bury it under the carpet.
You know,
they don't want to deal with that kind of emotional baggage
to
them. You know, they'll be like, this is too much, I can't deal with it.
The guys who are watching, it's a challenge. Protect the women around you. Call out your friends, because also, you know, perpetrators sometimes are concealed by their friends, and they enable them. Because once, we've seen so many shows of a guy knows my friend did this, but then they won't say anything about it.
They won't do anything. They just watch and do nothing. Or you can even be in trouble for trying to stop him because of his friends or family. So you just, anyway, I think we just keep talking about it until something is done.
Now, what can be done from the legal point? Because you've just talked about, unfortunately, we still have corruption here. We still have so many miles to walk so that we can actually get to a place where the legal system is working. But I've seen in 2023, so many more cases were processed. I think the highest in the last 10 years. So we are processing a few more cases in the country. The law and order, the law enforcement is taking, it's doing its part. But then, bado hatujafika. So I don't know what can be done in terms of the legal point, from the legal point of view. Before I get to you, let me toss it back to Marion.
No problem.
Let's sort out something. But Marion, what do you think can be done legally when you report a case of assault? What should be done?
Okay, I've had stories and delays of first. Okay, maybe the what is it called? The investigation, something was tampered with. So it starts there. It starts right there when we report. I presented my clothes. They had a stain and all this, and to show this is evidence that I was raped, and it's so true. So it starts there where we present this evidence. You know, sometimes, someone may report a case and then they get to the court and then they are told, oh, you know, you don't have this kind of evidence, because this evidence was tampered with somewhere during reporting. So it starts there. When when we report these cases, people who are following it should follow it to the end with keenness. We should not lose any important information in there, so that when we reach to the court, we're not being denied that. And you know, when you present something in court, they deal with evidence, right? When you don't have that evidence, you lose your case. So I feel like that's where a lot of people lose their cases, and they feel like they're not getting the justice they deserve because they lost that one thing when they were reporting, when the investigations were being done or something. So it starts there. It starts when we report. So I feel like not to blame our government, not to blame our police stations, because they're doing the most. They're trying,
they're doing their best.
because imagine finding these perpetrators. Sometimes it can be hard, but they do their best with law. Okay, we don't have good systems that supports forensics. You work with forensics, but I know we're not there yet. When we lose this, what is it called? Our evidence. When our evidence is tampered with ukuchini, that's when we lose it. And we live in a country where when you don't have power, to find justice, it's something else.
It's hard.
It's so hard to find justice. So
there are
and
many
I like
barriers.
what you talked about, even just the tampering with evidence, because I want to get the process from the very beginning. What happens if I am sexually assaulted tonight? What should I do, Dr. Kizi?
Okay, so before I get there, there's a lot of legal reforms that has been taking place in the last couple of years across all the institutions, which is a very good thing. That would be the National Police Service, the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution, the judiciary, even in the medical sector. So there's lots of changes to enhance and improve the forensic evidence, to enhance trauma-informed care, so that we are not victim shaming our patients, or wherever it is they go to report or whatever help they need. We are not asking them, but why were you there? What were you thinking? But you're drunk. What do you expect when you're drunk, surrounded by men? Of course, they'll gang. You know, that kind of talk exists even at in the institutions, even all of them across all sectors, and it's not from a bad place. It's just lack of knowledge. So we need to enhance our training across all the sectors on trauma-informed care when dealing with children, when dealing with women, when it's a sexual offense case, survivors, etc., etc. Yeah, and that I know for sure there's a lot of changes being done, which is probably why there was better case management in 2023 moving forward. So the different sectors are working towards making the experience less unpleasant for survivors and their families, including finding out what is justice to you. Justice to you might mean the perpetrator is arrested and convicted. To someone else, it's give me back all the money I have spent and pay for my next 2 years of therapy that I need, because it's been very difficult, or I've been unable to work since my child was defiled. 2 years I've not worked. I need that money paid back, and things like that. So it's always good to hear from survivors what their idea, what justice means to them as well.
I love that.
Yeah, so forensic evidence. This is evidence that is gathered by various authorized persons where a criminal matter, a criminal offense has occurred or is suspected to have occurred. So that evidence, which is information, can assist the prosecution, the investigators, to kind of reconstruct the crime that is alleged to have taken place. Yeah. That means that the police, let's say if you're not you, but someone is sexually assaulted or raped, because in our Sexual Offences Act, everything has its own meaning.
Yeah.
So if there's been an assault that's sexual, the first thing to do is to ensure that you get to a medical facility. There's lots of different thoughts on this part, because either, people tend to either go to a medical facility or to the police. I think because most people don't want to go to a police station. If you tell them that, they'll just stop. A medical facility is best because the evidence that can be gathered is getting lost by the minute. Every minute after an incident like that, information is being lost. So the medical facility will look into your medical status, physical health. What is it this person requires? We need to ensure they don't get pregnant, don't get STIs, take care of all those issues to do with the body itself, and then they will also collect forensic samples, depending on the timeline. So it's best to go immediately because, like I said, with every minute information is being lost. Spermatozoa is being lost. Hair that has been transferred is being lost. So then that's what I recommend. After that is done, samples should be kept properly, preserved properly, and handed over only to the police. The police are the only ones who can handle evidence. So I've seen survivors being given evidence at the medical facility to take to a police station. If the minute you do that, you've destroyed her case. She has no case. It's done because she should not handle that evidence herself. I cried for a lady that, like a month ago, because she did everything right, but they gave her the evidence, and that was it. No one accepted it. So the next thing is to go to a police station and report. You will get an occurrence book number, which is a record that you came and reported, and here is the number. Your statement can be taken. You're issued with a P3 form, Kenya Police Medical Report form, which the medical practitioner needs to complete for you. So you have to go get a medical practitioner to complete it for you. It could be at the same facility or a different one. Then it's returned into the police file. Ideally, the police should escort this person through all those movements so that they are the ones handling these exhibits, right? Then the police will hand it over to the prosecution to determine if anything is required. They can be told, yeah, it's good, or go back and get this, you forgot to do this, And the samples that have been collected will be taken to the government chemist for analysis, for DNA analysis and all that. Then the survivor may, or depending on what happens, if the case proceeds, they'll be summoned or bonded to court to give their evidence, as well as the medic and the investigator and anyone else who participated in that part of the investigations.
Thank you.
So it's best to go early. For children, they don't really, most adults will choose not to pursue this. They'll just want the medical part and forget the rest. For children, it is mandatory that the police are involved, the law enforcement is involved. There must be an investigation.
I love that. And at least, as you've said, most medical facilities have already created different departments that handle this specifically. Because I'm aware Nairobi Women's, I believe they have that, and many other, wherever you go, you'll find a facility that deals with that specifically. But be sure to follow, just in case you're in a situation like that. We don't pray you get into that. We pray all the cases like that just vanish overnight. But in case you get into a situation like that, please make sure you follow every single thing to the letter. Go to the medical facility and then make sure the evidence is given to the police, not to you. And it's so unfortunate that some cases, I think people miss out on one thing or the other because they didn't know what the procedure was, or they did not know they could get help. They didn't know there's someone who's speaking up for them and someone who's there to just take over. unfortunately, right now we have so many NGOs, so many, even the governmental organizations that are working with assault victims from GBV, domestic violence, and every other form of assault. So it's something that I'm grateful for. But then unfortunately, we have the counter side of the internet. Where, you know, derogatory comments can come in, sexist comments, but there, you know, you can't really arrest someone because you don't know who this person is. This is someone who's behind the screen.
Keyboard.
Yeah, so Marion, what happens when you experience, you know, all these forms of assault via social media? What do you do personally? What would you do?
Okay, now social media is another thing, honestly, and for people who are on social media spaces, I'll call them heroes, because the bullying they go through every day, and they have to stand that, to listen to that, and you know, sometimes you feel like you want to talk back to these people, and it's not worth it. So you just keep quiet. And okay, maybe for me, how I'll handle it, if maybe I was on I'm going to be on social media spaces and I'm going to face this bullying. Someone will just talk about my outfit, so someone will comment something and it will piss me off, but I won't comment back. I won't start fighting them back, because sometimes it's not worth it. You don't know what these people is going through, honestly. Some people might be typing and they're not okay. Mentally, they're not okay. So fighting with this person is, doesn't make sense at all. So I just ignore these people. Some days you just have to put your head up high, and I'm like, okay, so this is not getting to me at all. I'm not going to allow myself to listen to this, because if I put my head to it, it's gonna hurt me. It's gonna deteriorate my mind somewhere. It's gonna mess with my mental health. So some comments, if you can ignore them, just ignore them, honestly. Yeah, just ignore them.
What if it's your naked pictures online? Someone decides to post them, threatens to share something you did
or if
together.
It's someone who's persistent.
Yeah.
You know, that one account that keeps coming back every single
Talking and
time.
trolling.
Yeah, because what happens? Is there anything in terms of cyber crimes?
Yes, you can you can report it. There's a lot of development in that space, at least in the police service. And I think you're aware of the Data Protection Act and all this. So there's a lot of changes taking place very rapidly in that space because of child online sexual exploitation. It's a very, very serious issue. Many times we come across photos of children, you know, in all sorts of positions. There's a lot of that. You can't even believe the figures. So, you know, if you come across such a thing, what are you supposed to do? You can report it. You can report it to the police. You can alert the, what are they called? Communications Authority of Kenya? Yes. There are various avenues. Yes. Instead of sharing, another thing people do that they should not is share all these videos of people being violated in some way or other, especially of children. Please stop doing that. It's actually a crime to do that. You should just share it with the authorities immediately and get rid of it after they have it, rather than sharing it. Please share widely. You know how people say please share widely? That's not the way it is, because you're even increasing the vulnerability of this individual who has no say and has no choice in what is going on. You just need to let the police know.
Okay.
Thank you. I love that, because at least there's something that can be done from the legal point of view. Because that's something that when I tell you the number of times that you come across certain comments or, you know, accounts that are dedicated to be sexist against women. And people are committed to that. And not enough people know that you can report that to the police.
You
I was
can.
there. You see, I'm one of them, and I feel like people need that awareness to know that, oh, I've been bullied, and I can report this person to some department, and this can be dealt with. I feel like we need to push that narrative.
Please.
If you're bullied online, you can report this to CAK, and they will hear you.
Exactly. Piga to screenshot. Screenshot alafu unatuma police. That is the way. I think there needs to be some harsh implications for this thing, so that people know you don't just joke around because you're online and it's virtual, because it's real lives that are being affected. Now let's talk about the mental health aspect of it, because when you personally, for the past like 2-3 weeks, it's been heavy. Every time I go on social media, I hear one case or the other. The other day there were women who were being assaulted in Juja. On 25th there were so many cases of the gang rapes, and so many other isolated situations. I know an NGO I follow that the lady is dedicated to pursuing perpetrators and helping the victims. And every time I come across the stories, it's just heartbreaking. You hear kids have been assaulted, men have been assaulted, young girls who they don't know what to do, people who are married for years and years, elderly women are assaulted. It definitely takes a toll on our mental health. Even if you're not directly affected by whatever is happening, even if you've not experienced assault, it does take a toll on us as women, especially if you're an empath, especially if you're humane. So Dr. Kizi, you're dealing directly, because I know you've dealt with the victims and you've worked with multiple organizations. How do you take care of your mental health as you're going through that? How do you make sure the people that you work with also prioritize their mental health?
I would ask her the same question. You take care of people. Who take care of you? Who do you report to?
Who do you turn to?
Who do you report to?
That's a very, very important part of the service provision. Because in humanitarian work, or work where you're dealing with people who are violated in such grotesque ways, and it was not only victims, it was even suspects, murder suspects, and they tell you what they did to this child, and you know, at first you're fine, but slowly it's chipping away at you, very slowly, even if you're built for the job like I am. Within a number of years, you notice changes. You're sad, you're unhappy, you're palpitating all the time. You have tremors, you're stressed. You know, you don't want to be around people. You're isolating yourself. You're more angry at the world. There are very many changes. It's called vicarious trauma, where I get trauma from the survivor who was traumatized. You're just collecting it. Every single case, and you're seeing like 50, 60 in a day, imagine, or more. So it's important, and one of the things, because I suffered from it very severely, I had to take time off, and I had been warned, but I didn't know the signs. I didn't know what signs to look into, but I'm okay, you know, at least I caught it in time and changed what I was doing. I changed everything, because I had to take care of my children and our family and our friends, and I deserve to live a good life, right? So one of the things that is now understood by even different service providers is the need for the service providers to take care of themselves. Otherwise, you yourself can become a barrier to access to justice. If you're not in the mood to see someone, you're snapping at them, you're being rude, you don't want to take notes, you're tired, you can't attend work, you're using substances to cope. So at least now I know that every different department has taken into account the impact of self-care. So you need a time out, you need to be able to debrief regularly with a trained psychologist, preferably a trauma therapist. Take enough time out, take enough rotations, and the leadership has to be part of this, because you can know all this, but the leadership doesn't want you to stop or take a break. So it has to start from, it has to cut across all the, exactly, it has to trickle down.
I love that. And I love that you've also said you weren't aware of the symptoms. You were told it can happen. But I don't think you were aware, because you know you're passionate, you're doing your work. So it's also very important to know what are the signs, what are the symptoms. And as you've said, you pulled back so that you can be better for the people that you're working with. I've had a therapist who's a friend of mine. He told me he had to take some time off, because you know when you're doing it, I always constantly used to wonder, do therapists have like a therapist?
They do. Supervision. They are very, very keen on it. They will not mess around for anyone, because they know there's no point of us both going down. I need to be okay as well to be able to serve.
I love that, because and it's also okay for you to not be okay. Just work towards getting okay. I really love that. Now sasa, from the point of view of Marion, sasa sisi majenzi tuko hapa sasa kwa ground. You know, know, I feel like every time I go online, I keep telling people, I've become like a Mau fighter. Like I'm an activist right now.
And it's so bad.
You know, every time I'm just like,
No, it's good.
let us defend this
You're
people,
using
let
your
us do
voice.
that.
Let's do that.
You know,
yeah.
but how do you take care of your mental health? And then I'll wrap it up by just talking briefly about what we think the influencers or the people in media, because you're going to be in media.
Yeah,
What
sure.
do you think we can do to make the situation better? But first tell me, you and your friends, you and your girlfriends, as you're sitting down and talking about all these effects and everything that's happening and the insecurity, how are you guys prioritizing your mental health?
Okay, you know, I believe the first step of ever healing is sharing something out and talking it out. Once you share it or talk it out, it's a step ahead. So I feel like, yeah, we talk to people, talk to someone, right?
Yeah.
If it's not a psychologist, because okay, some people cannot access a psychologist. They're so expensive. Not gonna
That's
lie.
true, yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's my whole girl.
ChatGPT is very nice. It's very
Free
awesome.
therapy.
As long as you're not bottling too much stuff and you're just crying on your own and you're victimizing yourself. Just find a way to speak, even if it's just sharing to you see this chat that we're having. You see, maybe I'm talking here right now, but I'm healing some parts of me.
Yeah.
I'm speaking out some things, and it's healing me. So to me, talking it out, it just saves something rather than just keeping quiet with it and dying with it alone. They say a problem half shared is half solved.
I love that, because just speak out. You know, when you talk to people, you'll find that most of the times they relate with what you're going through and
Honestly.
they help you figure out what next. Now, as we wrap up the conversation, what role can we play? Let me talk to you from the service provider's point of view. What more do you think you can do? And then I'll toss it over to Marion as we wrap up, and then you can tell me, what do you think the media space, the influencers, what can we do to make sure that this is almost non-existent in the next 5 years?
Well, I think for me, I have chosen to focus more on the science aspect of SGBV management, because I find we as a nation generally, there needs to be more information, more investment, more time and goodwill invested in building forensic sciences in the country. Yes, we have a little. It's good and it's growing, but very slowly. For example, there's an assumption that all clinicians have training required to deal with rape and defilement and child abuse and all these kinds of different abuses. But the truth is that's not the case. It's a whole field on its own. So for me, that's where I plan to focus my energy, just getting in all the spaces across various levels to ensure that this song that I'll be singing gets somewhere. And it has over time. You just need to take breaks, refresh yourself, and go back and continue. And media, please allow me to just say, we need more stories on convictions and arrests and
less of the
interventions.
cases and
less
more
of
the conviction.
yes, exactly.
I love that. Now let me toss it over to Marion, because Marion ndo anaenda kuingia media.
Yes.
Tuambie sasa, what do you think we can do as, because we are the mouthpiece of the people. And we report more cases of defilement here, defilement there. Not enough conviction, as like Dr. Kizzy said. So what more can we do?
Like she said, we know the story, but we don't know how the story ends. Did the perpetrator get arrested? Did this family get justice? Did this girl go to the place somewhere? Did she find someone to talk to? Did she find that help? Rather than pushing the narrative, oh, we need to be self-aware. We need to preach the gospel of rape. So what after we've preached? You see, honestly, we need to follow on convictions. And okay, I'm gonna give this platform flowers. The end femicide, the usikimie, people who are talking, people who are really doing the most out here about gender-based violence. So I feel like me as a media personality, we're gonna push that narrative also. We just keep talking about this, we're not going to stay silent until something has been done. We're not like giving up on it. So we'll talk, even if it's 10 years to come, we'll still preach this narrative, gender-based violence. Don't do this, don't hurt women, don't do that.
I love that. It's not the end until it's the end. Na tunaendelea bado kupush. So let me toss it over to you. Just tell me where we can get you on socials before we wrap up the show. Marion?
Okay, everywhere. Marion Halil, TikTok, Instagram, and unajua mimi ni Gen Z, siko Facebook. So Twitter, TikTok, formerly Twitter, X, the X, Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, all of them just Mariam Halil.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where can we get you, Dr. Kizzy?
Instagram, Kizzy Shako. Facebook, because I'm not Gen Z.
I was about to say, what's a wingi for workforce? Audience itakuforce my Facebook.
Yeah, I have no choice really. The way I opened TikTok, not on TikTok. Yeah, so it's Instagram, X, and Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kizzy Shako.
and YouTube, Kizzy Shako or Dr. Kizzy Shako.
Yeah, I love that. Please follow these lovely ladies. They've informed us and they've educated us. And I hope you've gotten something from this conversation, be it that you're a male, you're a female. Let us change the way we speak in society. Let us change the way we address women. So I want you to continue this conversation on our platforms at Y254. Endelea tu hapo uniambie, do you think the jokes we make, the music we listen to, the media that we consume, does it fuel rape culture? Tell us hapo chini. Tuambie ta experience yako, because this is a safe space and we want to continue with this conversation. In future, we're going to talk about it from the male perspective, because we need the men in this conversation. It's not just about the women. Sure. So it starts from us. Let us start the changes today. Let us make a difference today. That's it for me this evening. It has been a wonderful conversation. Stay tuned, because we have so much more coming your way. We're going to repeat this tomorrow between 1 and 2. And it's going to be up on YouTube as well. So you can catch it on our channel at Y254. So I'll see you guys next Thursday between 7 and 8. Have a lovely evening.